Hey guys, it's Paulo with Synthmania. I'm here at the Thomann Synth Reactor 2019 with Jackson from Modal Electronics.
How you doing?
And today we're going to show two fairly new, one is new for sure, the other one is fairly new. The first is a virtual synthesizer called the Sculpt, and then we're going to show the brand new Craft synthesizer as well. So Jackson, maybe first if we can have a little bit of a quick background on the company and what you guys specialize in.
Okay, so we're a British synthesizer company based in Bristol. We have come off the back of doing some really big analog and a hybrid polysynths. We had the 002, which is a wavetable synth, which lends into the Crafts a little bit. And the 008, which was 8-voice all analog, just monster, a really big monster. And we went from there to doing some DIY synths. It was kind of sort of snappable, and you plug it all together and get the points together, and you have this nice little DIY portable synth and a drum machine as well in that format. And after some time kind of going over, you know, the requests and the feedback from the end users, we came up with kind of these two and this new form factor to kind of address a lot of the issues that we had with the smaller portable things that we were trying to do then. I think a lot of people had the desire for us to have full-size MIDI and things like this, so we just tried to make just a better product with, you know, no compromises, no just sort of shortcomings in terms of features and things that you might be locked out of with other small portable synths.
Sure.
So yeah, we ended up with these two. This one, as you said, is already out. We've got Craft coming up, which we'll be looking at a little bit later on, and yeah, hopefully we can show you kind of the nice juxtaposition between the two of them, and yeah, see what you think. Super.
Yeah, as far as connections in the back, you have really a plethora of in and outs, and both of these have both sync in and sync out, right? So you can just connect them to each other or anything else.
Yeah.
Compatibility. Nice. And I saw the like you were saying, the full size MIDI DIM ports in and out, which is great. Very useful in the studio.
Yeah, and you can soft through as well. So you can do MIDI over USB, and you can soft through either of those, either the DIN or the USB through the
Sure, absolutely. Right. Okay, let's start with Sculpt maybe. Can you describe what it is and, you know, oscillators, filters, the sequencer in particular is really cool in this one. If you can have a little quick overview before we jump in listening to the sound.
Okay, so it's a 4-voice virtual analog. We have a bunch of really nice keyboard performance functions, including a sequencer. We've got arpeggiator, chord modes, transpose, all this sort of stuff. Then you have a traditional kind of virtual analog engine from there. We have like continuous oscillators, kind of akin to wavetables really, but they're traditional virtual analog wave shapes. 2 LFOs, audio rate, 3 envelope generators, filter, amp and mod envelope. But with these you can kind of access them through the mod matrix and kind of send them elsewhere and send...
Assignable.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a 8x37 destination mod matrix, so there's quite a lot of options. There's a lot of... yeah, when it comes to patching this thing, there's a lot of different options to go for. Then we have a 2-pole state variable filter, which means it will morph through low pass, band pass, high pass.
Oh, sweet.
And yeah, I think that we're about there. Sequencer 736 step real time, so not your traditional 16-step input. It's designed for you to play and kind of capture like the like genuine performance and those sort of nuances of it. So it's a really interesting tool in comparison to like your traditional kind of sequences or arpeggiators and things like this, which are quite yeah, blocky, I guess.
Blocky. Okay. All right. Okay. I guess we can jump in and hear how it sounds. And this is polyphonic, so of course you can. Usually, a lot of these portable instruments that I see around these days are monophonic.
Yeah.
This is 4-voice polyphonic?
4-voice polyphonic, yeah.
Wonderful. So yeah, maybe we can start with a nice pad sound. Nice and full. Beautiful tail. Awesome, awesome. And how about a nice bass sound?
Let's just go for a search.
Yeah.
So we could maybe latch this one with the arpeggiator.
Sure.
We'll just see.
Nice, really powerful filter.
Yeah, the filter's really beautiful.
It sounds like very precise. The way I don't know if it's the waveform itself or the filter was doing that, but it's like almost limited in a way, like when you use a limiter to really compress and it gets a really precise tight bass, like they use a lot in electronic music.
I think perhaps with this it is slightly to do with the overdrive. We didn't mention this. There's a wave shaping overdrive. So you get kind of, when you get these kind of aggressive, kind of more resonant bass sounds, as it hits those kind of top bits, you're kind of folding that back in on itself, and it gets kind of, like a nice sort of crisp
sound,
coming down. It's nice.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. All right, can we maybe try to program a lead sound, or if you have already, do you break the sounds down by categories according to them, or
no? In the banks in this, it's all just a mixture of kind of favorites from the developers and myself. There's some really, really lovely stuff from the developers in there actually. But it's not categorized. It's something we're considering actually now that we're busy voicing this synth at the moment. Right. Something we're considering about how we actually structure the patches with this, because we can have twice the amount of patches in here. This will only have 64. We have to be quite considerate about how we represent kind of each sound and each,
Right.
Especially with, the capabilities. It's you want to show off everything if you can. You want to show off the whole thing, and how to do that appropriately is
very cool. If you want to select a lead synthesizer sound or something like that, if you want.
Would you like to program one? Should we
sure, let's give it a shot.
So I'm just going to initialize the patch. We'll just start off with a sine wave. Ooh, we've got some random
you got the octave down.
So, if you want to do a lead sound, let's make it mono.
That is cool already.
Yeah.
Got the nice fifth, like a typical.
So I'm just going through the sings for that.
Super cool. Yeah, it reminds me of those classic synthesizer leads of the 1970s, like the progressive, like...
I should leave the playing to you, really.
Yeah, very cool sound. And you program it in like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
wow.
It's really beautiful to work with. Once you understand how to operate this, it's really, really quick workflow. And that's something. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how other people do it when they get their hands on it, and to see some of the content coming back at us with this, and just to see how people get into this.
Can we like slightly tweak this sound? Maybe like remove the fifth and maybe have less of a release and spend some time on the sequence, talking about the sequencer. Maybe create a little sequencer.
Let's do it.
A little sequence with this sound.
So, so I just had to take it out of the voice mode there, but yeah.
Cool.
You can hear the nuances of the notes where I've kind of mismatched.
Right, it records them, yeah.
Yeah, you have all of this. It's 756 steps, so you really get to like do normal performance with it.
Yeah, almost like a looper. Like a lot of people have loopers these days that they use with voice and guitars and synths today.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's kind of like the intention with it with loopers. When I was a kid and I was using guitar loopers, often with guitars or a small synth or something, that was what I was doing. That's what I was using them for, was to make these small little just kind of sections of just ideas and things. And you'd have like a couple of them on just this one little box, and then you'd record it back into your computer or something and just start manipulating it. And that's kind of like the same ethos here, is that we have something you can take out. You mess around with, you find something you really like, you record it, you can take it home and use it and integrate it, into your sort of everyday workflow. So yeah, I think it becomes quite powerful when you look at it like that, because you're not just limited to sequencing a synthesizer with your computer, or having to like just input notes and just have it as it is. You can actually start to tweak things in a really interesting way. For instance, with the sequencer, as we were recording, it's also listening for all of the animation like parameters that are here. So if I start to record in some filter automation, that's going to get captured, and you can like really quickly make something that is like quite morphing and quite strange. You add the delay into this and have some like automation with the delay time, and it becomes
really can make a full song with it, because 700, you said 600 and
756.
756.
But
wow.
you have to understand that this is between 1 and 8 bars.
Right.
So it's not like a 756 step input like a traditional sequencer. It's like a in that space you have that much option just to as to where the notes are going to go. So as we're inputting things, it's able to capture more accurately like the nuances of your note rolls, for example, the way you're kind of rolling into what you're playing.
Yeah, it will be plenty to record a full song, I think. Yeah, very cool. Maybe listen to a few more sounds that are representative of this unit.
Sure. Here you can really hear the overdrive quite nicely, kind of a little bit more of like the harmonic content of the filter, but it's probably nicer to show you that in a single sweep, and you kind of understand where all of those kind of like harmonics are sitting. But it's kind of showing off a little bit of the FM capabilities in here, which is an interesting one. Wave 2, wave 1 being the carrier, wave 2 being the
modulator.
So it's quite interesting in that it's not strictly just virtual analog. I don't know whether you can categorize FM as an analog thing. It's majoritively digital synths. Right?
Yeah, a lot of the digital synths of the 80s when they were digital. Yeah, of course in analog too, but yeah, a lot of the Yamaha DX7 there like really popularized. Those were digital synths. But
let's find something a little bit more lush and a little bit more. What you would usually expect? Like maybe like a few more pads if you haven't, because really interesting to see the polyphony of this sort of tabletop synthesizer. Because like I said, usually they're monophonic. This one has that extra polyphony. So sure. Here's a nice kind of drifting pad for you. This is the first preset that you you get greeted with when you open up Sculpt. Probably better if you play it than me.
Oh, it's fine. Okay, sure,
for it.
thanks. Let's try something. Gorgeous. Very nice. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Yeah. A really versatile unit. Again, you can do pretty much all the bass, the arrangement, the melody on the top. So yeah. And it's portable, right? So
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's 6 AA batteries, or if you have a laptop with you,
USB.
of course.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Shall we move to the new player?
Let's do it.
The Craft.
Let me just get it plugged in.
Okay. All right. Now we talk about the Craft synth, the new guy on the block, and this is really one of the smallest, if not the smallest, synthesizer I've seen. They're just about totally portable and based on the same technology as the Sculpt, or slightly different.
It's closely related, but they're very much different synth engines. Whereas the Sculpt is virtual analog. Craft is a wavetable synthesizer with oscillator modifiers like FM, phase mod, but then some more off-the-wall things that the DSP guys at Modal have been working on. There's some interesting sync things. There's like a windowed sync where the zero crossovers are outside of the window so that they always match zero. I guess you don't get the harsher kind of clipping or glitching that you might find with sync. There's some nice sort of wave shaping and wave folding and some really interesting options. Not all of them work in the same way that phase mod or frequency mod would, where you have your carrier and modulator. They're not all like that. Some of them are and some of them aren't. Some of them are things like D-Res that we had on the 002.
So you mentioned wavetables, and is that a preset factory set of wavetables, or you can load your own and have custom wavetables?
It's preset factory wavetables at this point. We have included some waves from the 002. We have some new designs from the DSP guys at Modal for some new wave shapes. There's some interesting new synthesis types, or I'm not sure how new, but polygonal synthesis and some kind of math-related oscillator shapes and stuff like this. It's some really, really interesting stuff, and it's quite a wide range of sounds. And when you kind of couple that with the oscillator modifiers, it can get very aggressive very quickly, but it can also be really, really lush, really warm, and kind of...
Just add some effects, and you can even do pads, even though it's a monophonic unit.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, pads straight out there.
Interesting sound. I like it a lot. Yeah.
So we've got the aftertouch for this, just to kind of change the pitch of, change the spread. Actually, what happens with the spread on this is quite interesting. You go through full detune, and then once you pass full detune, the oscillators are stacked into kind of intervals. So you have like minor chords, major chords, major sixth, suspended fourth, I think, and then octaves and variations of octaves and fifths, and which directions the octaves are going.
Sure, yeah.
It's really interesting because for a monosynth, you can still get really complex voicings out of it. We are limited to using just one digit, but you can get some really complex chords out of it, which is not what you would expect.
And also, this one has a sequencer, but you were mentioning it only has 64 steps on it, or
no, 64 presets on this, but we do have an ARP sequencer. It's basically a programmable ARP. So whereas the ARP in this is more what you might expect, where you have you put your hands down and then you choose like the note order, if it goes forwards, backwards, the order that you played, or in pendulum. This one's different. If you just use it, if you engage it normally, it will just do a very similar thing. It will just arpeggiate whatever you have on there. But what you can do is actually program in the kind of intervals that you want it to go, and program in rests and stuff, and then it will sort of populate that across the keys that you play, basically.
Okay. And I know this is still not a full production unit, but do you have already patches loaded in it?
Yeah, I've been working on patches of this for the past few weeks, so there's just a lot of stuff that we're kind of kicking around and trying to find kind of like what is the final voice of this thing, you know. What
makes it sing?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's check it out.
Check through some more bits.
I like the sound. Was that the UK bass that you programmed? I remember that patch. In fact, I was playing with it for like 10 minutes under the tent.
It's like classic house organ spin-off, I guess. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
So this is showing off some of the oscillator modifiers.
Modulation.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds so aggressive in a good way, digital.
Yeah.
Totally different from that range. I mean, not totally, but you know.
No, it's good. It's good because the worry, I think, when you have things that are in such a similar form factor, is people look at them and think, oh, well, they're just so closely related. You know, which one do I get? Or maybe I go for the bigger one, or I want the smaller one, depending on, you know, what you're after. But actually, the capabilities are very, very different. You know? So. Yeah.
And what other types of patches do you have loaded? Like maybe special effects or clangorous sounds, you know, because you're thinking FM or you're...
Yeah.
I don't want...
No, this is a good question. I haven't actually come through for any effects at this point. I have a lot of bass and pads and chords and some leads and things in there. But in terms of effects stuff, I don't actually have anything in there. This is probably this patch we've just seen is probably the most kind of... not effects type, but it's kind of close to, you know, a lot of modulation and a lot of rhythmic qualities to it.
Yeah.
But it would be really, really great for that sort of stuff. You know, we've still got a way to go before we finish kind of doing all the patches for this, and effects is sort of definitely something we need to.
No worries, take your time.
There,
Can we hear a couple more bass sounds, maybe? Because
let's go for it.
Nice.
More stuff.
The nice aftertouch it opens and closes the filter. I'm a techno guy. I've always loved techno since the early 90s, and I could see myself playing this for my techno jams that I do.
This is
so
good.
Very aggressive, very good.
Yeah,
I like it.
The aggression is really, really quick to dial in with this. It's kind of surprising. You think with some other synths it takes quite a while to kind of like program things and get the options there, but it's just very quick.
All right, well, take your time and finish all the patches, and you know, I'm sure it's going to be sounding good when you're done with it.
Thanks very much.
All right, yeah, both great units, both of the Sculpt and the Craft, and thank you so much, Jackson, for showing them to us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All the best.
See you guys later.